Super Soul Sunday. Happy Sunday. Happy New Year. I think this is my first Facebook Live and stroke YouTube this year. So happy New Year. I'm super excited coming your way. And today we're going to be talking about how we're going to be building our businesses because some of us, because of COVID or last year, all of us have been through, we have kind of quelled in or given up or say, hey, I'm not going to do anything this year. I'm not writing any goals. I'm not writing any resolutions and stuff. But my special guest and I have come to revive you, to motivate you, to tell you that get up and do something with your business. So welcome and share our conversation and join in the conversation as well. RJ, welcome to the Nana Churches Show Live.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So tell the world who RJ Barros is.
Sure. G'day, everyone. I'm RJ Barros from Australia originally. Moved out to Canada, do all my businesses and my work in North America. And father of 3 amazing kids. That's enough for us for sure. Amazing wife and, serial entrepreneur, lots of different businesses and, really focused this year on digital branding. I think it's the year of the digital brand, and really excited about being on your show today.
Thank you, RJ. Before we continue our conversation, this year, what the Nana Churches Show is doing that every month we will introduce a book. One of the things to exercise our brain is reading, and it's so important that we read. So this book by Mary Kay Ash, the founder of Mary Kay Cosmetics. I happen to be a Mary Kay consultant. If you don't know, I once upon a time was a Mary Kay sales director, senior sales director, got the pink polo. But when I started my talk show, I kind of stepped back to focus on my dream. But Mary Kay company or the Mary Kay career kind of helped me and launched me to be the woman that I am today. So it's called Miracle Happens, and it's a book that I encourage every business person to read. So there's a quote in that I want to share before RJ and I continue with our conversation, and it says that um, this book is dedicated to women, but I would say for all the Nana Churches Show fans, it's dedicated to every family who dare to step out of their comfort zone and use their God-given talents and abilities, realizing that God did not have time to make a nobody, just a somebody. So you are a somebody, and this year, go for your dream. So Miracle Happens by Mary Kay Ash. Get it, read it, and I tell you, it will be a blessing for you. So my wonderful guest, RJ, also, I want to share, RJ has 2 businesses. He's grown 2 businesses to 100 million plus in revenue, empowered salespeople from stages as large as 18,000 people all around the world. RJ, 18,000 people, motivating them, encouraging them, telling them, hey, get up and do something. How did you get into the network marketing business and built it from there?
Sure. Yeah. Network marketing is an interesting industry. I'm no longer in the industry, but it definitely is one of the best places to start. And I'll say that because I'd spent 10 years as a computer nerd in Australia, driving 2 hours work, driving 2 hours home, and really just feeling unfulfilled in my life. I thought by the time I hit 30, I'd be this millionaire and have all this freedom, and I was just stuck. So that's why I ended up traveling to Canada, met my wife, and then kind of meeting her, I wanted to do more, have more, and that's how I got introduced to the industry. But it's not easy. It's one of the best places to start because it teaches you how to sell and, most important, build a network. And Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad author, said, your network is your net worth. And that is something I've kind of embodied as just a value that has literally just escalated our career. But, our first year, we made nothing. Our second year, we went full-time, made $20,000 a Canadian, which is less than the US, less than the pound, so not much. And was over 100,000 in debt. And, I think sometimes some people learn by the 2x4 method, where you get hit by a 2x4 over and over again, piece of wood, till you get it. And that was me. 2011, launched with a company and gave it everything. And then we made my first million at 31, my second at 33, still get residuals, and then left that industry and transitioned into multiple industries and had multiple successes. And I am just thankful that when we had our shot, we went for it full throttle. And I believe this year is the year a lot of people can get traction, because business has changed. Like, the world has changed. And digital is the best place for you to run any business, whether it be in that industry or other industries. This is the way forward.
RJ, this pandemic, all of us, I mean, though it's a worldwide pandemic, so everybody have had their fair share. But in that, a lot of businesses also thrive. Some people were losing it and some people were really thriving. And when I did my research, I realized that, delivery services, meal prep services, cleaning services, game makers, like you said, you were a computer nerd, mask makers were thriving.
Right.
How would one sit down and say, how did you start? How did you sit down and say, okay, this year, this is what I am going to do? Because some people don't know what to do.
Sure.
What would you say to them?
My last business was, I'll say this. Here's what I would say. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do, because I spent the last 6 months figuring that out for myself. The last industry I built 2 solar companies. One of them massive brand, the other all about systems and technology. And I sold that off, 7-8 months ago. And I actually spent the last 6 months trying to figure out what I want to do when I grow up, right? Like, I'm like, what do I do? And so I studied digital marketing, and I've actually met super influencers. I have a connection that has over 4 billion reach in terms of all of their micro and social influences in their network. I've met people that are doing millions of sales online, entrepreneurs that have pivoted from brick and mortar into full throttle payment processing and full throttle digital businesses. And what I've been doing is collecting data. And I can tell you, wherever you're at in the world, if you're not sure what to do, but you want more, look at something you can start digitally, becoming just a simple marketer, reading books by Richard Brunson, learning ClickFunnels and learning how to market products, or learn.com. That's the guy that Robert Kiyosaki endorses, and look at products and things you can market online. But if you do have a business, now's the time to start recording it. I've built 4 different businesses that have all netted over 7 figures personally. And the one thing I forgot to do was build a personal brand. I never focused on it. And what I'm seeing is now that the people that built personal brands in the past have had massive transitions in the last 12 months. So the personal brand is here. It's the way the world is working. People are hiring based on your personal brand. People are giving away actual roles in Hollywood because of your personal brand. So for you right now, wherever you're starting, whatever business you're focused on, start recording it. Say, this is what I'm doing. This is where I'm going. Record your journey and start to figure out how to connect with potential clients and monetize it through any business that you're focused on. And as you build momentum, as you start to build traction, that's when you can start, reach out to me. I'll tell you what to do next or where to go, because it's not really about what you know, it's about who you know. And over this last time, I've been like, okay, so if I want to do Instagram, I go here. If I want to do LinkedIn, go meet Shanae Morrow, 750,000 influencers. If you're not on Clubhouse, you need to get on Clubhouse. It has changed the way networking works. It's like virtual stages where you can meet people with similar passions. So, right now it's, head down, bum up, start working on your business, record it. Because if you don't, you will be left behind.
If you don't, you'll be left. But I'm so thankful, because I remember you said when I joined Clubhouse, and Nana, you're on Clubhouse, and I instantly, and I had my first talk, and it was fun. So if you haven't learned anything right now, go on Clubhouse, join Clubhouse, and market yourself. RJ, every successful entrepreneur has some checklists.
Mhm.
And what are your checklists? Would you share some of your checklists
Yeah. So
with us?
how do I know if a business is right for me? I think this is going to be reverse knowledge that you probably haven't heard of before, but I say just do it. Like that's the best way. Like I don't know if this is going to work for me or not. So I look at, okay, how much do I have to spend or invest to test if this is for me, right? And then I do a full throttle, like micro burst of activity. And through that activity, through speaking with people, marketing it, selling it, creating funnels, whatever I'm doing, I can kind of feel it out through the process to decide if this is something for me or not. That's the best way to know, just to do it, take action on it, do a micro burst of commitment, like a 90-day burst. People always say in entrepreneurship, it's I got one of my mentors, Nick, he said it's not a marathon, it's not a race, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's actually a sprint of marathon. It's a marathon of sprints, 90-day sprints. Business is all built on intensity, slowing down, recharging, intensity, slowing down, recharging. Go do it. Don't wait. So many people are waiting. They're watching Netflix. They're watching Bridgerton and what is that? Cobra Kai.
Yes, Prison Break.
But then you get stuck, and then your life passes you by. Take action on something, and then take those little rests in between to recharge. But take action.
Wow. Yes, life passes you by. One thing I've learned this the beginning of the year is time. Time is ticking, and that says that the currency of life is time. We cannot go back and buy all the time that we spend binge watching on Netflix last year, whilst others were like really building to put yourself into 2021, even though we were in the pandemic. So maximize your time. It's very, very important. Another thing that I put out is knowing your specialty. A lot of us, we, as you said, we want to go. How would we know our specialty, and how would we enhance it, RJ? Because I can say, yeah, I want to go into the digital marketing, but that's not my specialty.
Sure, sure. And let's be clear, nothing is your speciality before you started. Like every master was once a disaster. And that was me in business. So, just because you don't know something, doesn't stop you. In fact, knowing can slow you down. It's like, if I know that, I know people that know things but don't get anywhere in life. So what I would suggest is doing the 34 Gallup strengths and weaknesses, and looking at the top 5. And here's really the clue. Test and measure. Try different things. See what feels right. See if A, gets you the right result. B, if it's a great ROI on your time. And C, if it's something that feels natural. And nothing feels natural at first. It does take, 66 days to develop a habit of consistency. So, that's the time window to really test things. That's why I say 9 days, take weekends off, etc. But here's what I would say. If you can match what your God-given talent is, what you were born to do, and you can match it with a skill, then you can have explosive results. And here's an analogy. If you're a speed reader and you do a speed reading course and you're reading 200 words per hour, right, or per 200 words per minute, and you do a speed reading course, and now you can read 400. But if you can naturally do 1,000 words per minute, when you do a speed reading course and you develop a skill that you have a natural talent in, your result goes crazy. Now you read 5,000 words per minute. It's exponential off a talent and skill. If you figure out, okay, I enjoy this, I'm loving it, it feels natural talent, and then you marry that with a skill, then you figure out how to monetize it.
So matching our talent and skill, that's a lot of us sometimes don't do. We're very talented at something, but then We don't know how to, merge the two and monetize it. Okay.
Yeah.
So whilst we're having our conversation, I want to read another page in the
Sure.
book of the month, Miracle Happens. It says that there are four kinds of people in this world:
Mhm.
those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, those who wonder what happened, and those who don't know that anything happened. So, which
Right.
of this category would you find yourself? So,
I was the lower category for many years, right? Like I was like, I think like in my 20s, I was like morbidly obese, social anxiety, played computer games, got into a computer career because it was something I enjoyed doing, and then built an income off it. But I got to that point where I wanted more, and I think it all boils down to I was very unaware, and then I became very self-aware. And once I became self-aware that if it was to be, it's up to me. That's when my life started changing, and I just became a doer. I don't know how else to say it. People know me, and I've worked in different industries, different businesses, gone from not knowing anything to successful inside of 6 months, not because of my knowledge or skill, but because of my tenacity and willingness just to do massive all-out action. I worked with John Maxwell for a year, flew in, met with him every 90 days, spoke to him once a month. And one of the things he always said, he's the foremost expert on leadership. He said, if you want to create urgency in your life, you want to become a massive doer, wake up every day and say, do it now, do it now, do it now, 50 times. And before you go to bed every night, just say, do it now, do it, do it now, 50 times. And I always remember that and share that and teach that because it literally has become a philosophy of my life. Go do it now.
go do it now. So, I've got my exercise regime tomorrow. We starting in my household. We're doing a 10 days challenge
Great.
of juicing. My husband, the kids, everybody said, before I go to bed, I'm going to say, you're going to do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. Yes. And then another thing that, being enthusiastic about what you're doing, your discipline, willingness, determination, and appreciation of others, discipline. Let's talk about discipline. That's where a lot of us don't do so well. How were you so disciplined when you started your business and
Oh, this
working with
is
your
such an
with your
interesting.
wife? And
Yeah.
tell me about it.
Yeah, so this is also a misnomer because people think you have to be disciplined in every area of your life, right? And let's be real, like I love food, right? I'm not the like super chiseled abs type person, right? My boys are eating machines, right? So for me, I'm not as disciplined, quote unquote, in my health, right?
Yeah.
I have some level of awareness, but I have this love for food that it gets
You
crazy.
just love your food.
Exactly, it's like a thing. But the reason I'm sharing that with is people believe you have to be disciplined in every area of your life. Like they say, healthy body, healthy mind. You have to be like super fit to have a healthy business.
Like
Or
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
yeah, exactly. And there are exceptions, right? But my thing is, I don't think, and this is my opinion, I don't think you can have everything perfect all at once. And if you try and believe that, you're crazy. Like perfect business, perfect home life, perfect health, perfect spirituality. It doesn't exist. Life is like a tightrope. You're always balancing. You're either leaning one way or the other, forwards or backwards. You're being pulled in different directions because of gravity, because of the natural laws of how our world works. So here's what I would say. If you're in a position where you want to succeed in business, pick one or two skills. What's the number one skill? If I focus on every day for the next 66 days, outside of weekends is a 90-day sprint, right? That if I do it, I'll have a massive result. And focus on that. And then keep doing it until it becomes robotic, until it becomes systematic, until it becomes something you just do, and then tackle the next skill, the next skill. I've never been good at sales. It's something I had to learn. So when I first got into a sales career, I was like, I got to talk to 10 people a day. every day. And I just did it over and over again. And I was brutal. It was terrible. And, I couldn't sell one person. And then 3 years later, I was speaking in front of 18,000. But that's because it became a habit. And when you make it a habit, it becomes an automatic way to achieve success.
So make it a habit and choose to and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, successful entrepreneurs also, like you said, they have ideas.
Mm-hmm.
This year, like 2021, some people have 100 ideas. I'm gonna how do you choose maybe your top 10, top 5 ideas, or the ideas that you have, and monetize it, as you
Sure.
said
It's
earlier
a
on?
lot of testing, Nana. Like I tested a business 3 months ago, and there was moderate success, and now I'm pivoting it into something else. It's like you gotta feel your way through it. But here's how I do it, right? Is you gotta learn. If you can learn from people that are far beyond you, it will shorten the gap. Most people make the mistake of getting advice from people that may or may not have real experience in what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
If I want advice in a relationship, then I'm going to seek out the person that has one of the most dynamic and passionate relationships. If I'm seeking out business advice, I want to seek the niche that I'm in and who's the market expert and get their advice. And then because their success is so far beyond, it makes it easier to shorten the gap versus learning from someone that has little to no. There's no room for growth. But someone far beyond, that's what I focus on. So this has actually been one of the biggest things that I'm focused on this year, because I'm really sick of people online saying they're experts but not backing it up with business success. There's so many people selling courses that are 20,000, 10,000, but their success is all measured on their courses, not their actual business acumen or their relationship or the thing that they're talking about. So I'm actually building, and we're still in the building phase, is a way to verify multimillionaires and their net worth. Because if you want to learn from someone in an area, I want to be able to provide the market expert to you. And that's what we're working on, a true place for you to learn. It'll be a low-cost membership to get access to some of the best entrepreneurs in the world that you normally can't, even know of, that have no digital presence, yet have insane business acumen. I've learned to seek these people out over the years, and it's a skill that you can develop just by reaching out, listening, finding out what they want, seeing if you can help them, just so you can ask them questions, right? But I've got this vast network, and now I want to provide it. That's kind of the big thing I'm focused on for this year, which will launch in Q2.
Wow, we look forward to that. I will be tapping into all the wisdom that RJ has got. So if you want to
Yeah.
be part of RJ's network, then you can. Well, before we finish our conversation, RJ will share his socials with us, so you can join him, and then you can ask more questions. RJ, attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Attitudes is one big thing in our life. How are we supposed to deal with our attitudes when it comes to our businesses?
Yeah, attitude is everything. I mean, I'm reminded of a book, and if you ever want just a flip on your life, it's A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, and it's basically about the author Viktor Frankl went through one of the most horrific times in our human history, right? With World War II. And it talks about how some people that were healthy and had enough food ended up passing, and some people that were barely alive thrived and were able to push through. And really, there's a quote in that book, and I can pull it up. It's on every one of my emails. It's something I live by. But it's basically, it's not what happens to you, it's how you respond. Right? And Tony Robbins says that as well. It's not what's going on in your circumstances, it's how you react. It's your perception. One person might be in the worst circumstance and see a whole bunch of positivity, or someone might be in the most positive circumstance and see a whole bunch of negativity. It's what you focus on expands, just like a camera. If you're taking a picture of all the negativity and things you don't want, that's what you get. If you can shift your mind to take a picture of the things you truly want, that you truly value, that you're being grateful for, right? Then you can win in any environment. And that has to do with your attitude.
You know, the book you just talked about, I have it.
Yeah, great book.
Mindset for me, it's a powerful book. So maybe since you've mentioned it, we will read that next month. You
Okay.
know, it's so important that we learn. It says knowledge is power, right? So we're gonna be learning.
Right.
So RJ, thank you so much for bringing that out. And my manager just says, "Hey, you got it." You know, we have so many books in and we don't.
Great book.
It's so important that we read. So our attitude, I'm just loving this conversation, and I know attitude is linked to our mindset. So let's talk about mindset, because as well as attitude is everything, our mindset is our life. So
Right.
let's please talk to us about mindset and having that as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. It's interesting. Mindset is something you have to intentionally create. It doesn't just happen, right? It doesn't like I have this championship mindset. It's something you have to work on. And it's all about figuring out how you absorb information. There's so many great apps, so many great ways to learn now, whether it be Audible, whether it be even YouTube, whether it just be reading. Like, you have to know how you absorb data. I'm very audible, so I love to listen, right? But here's what I would say. It comes back to the same thing that creates success. You have to be intentional about your habits. So instead of talking business to you, like if I become great at this skill set and do it over and over again, then I can produce an ROI on my time, my money, and my business. Shift it to mindset. If I every day get up and write down the top 10 things I'm grateful for, how will that shift my day? Amazing. I've led so many teams. I remember my insurance business that I sold off, still do it today, where they get together and they write down their top 10 things they're grateful for. And it just shifts everything, just a little bit that creates a lot of momentum. But the biggest thing I think for really understanding how to create a great mindset, and most people just never think of this, is to debrief at the end of every day. Like, what worked today? What didn't work? What can I do better for tomorrow and next week? And for anyone that has a relationship and you're in business together, I can tell you, being in a business and having a relationship and doing things together, it ages your relationship by a factor of 10. So a 10-year relationship becomes 100. It's insane.
Yeah.
One of the things we do is ask each other, what worked in the way I loved you today? What worked in the way I didn't? Like, what are the top 5 to 10 things? Always more. What's 1 or 2 things that didn't work? What's 1 thing I could do better for tomorrow, for next week? And if you can do that to yourself, it helps you shift your mindset. If you can do it in your relationship, if you have a spouse you live with, it creates so much intensity that most people will never focus on. It's debriefing, asking great quality questions and reviewing it, writing down, or however you process, but every day. And that'll shift your mindset.
Wow. So I'm taking notes. So yes, if you want a great business to be successful with your family, especially, and whilst you said that, let me ask you, how is when it comes to working with your wife, how is it like? Because even though you've just shared some bits, how is it like?
It hasn't been sunshine and roses, I'll tell you that.
Tell me some of the stuff.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of angst and a lot of years. And there are years I look back on and go, what was I thinking? And similar to her, when we discuss it, it creates a lot of intensity. When you have your relationship and you have money and you have business and it's all colliding, when things aren't going well, it puts a lot of pressure. You have to have a great foundation. And I do this with some of my teams, a code of honor. So our code of honor is, never go to go bed mad. There is no out clause. Always be supportive. We have key like words so that if I'm being all crazy, she can give me a state change by saying a keyword. So we have these agreements, right? And I think knowing that that's there is what really drives a relationship. And now it's a lot easier because I know her strengths, she knows mine. And it's kind of like we feed off each other. You can lean on each other. And when you have that foundation, just brick solid, we've had some, like, it's been a tough year of figuring out what to do next. And it has not been something that has come easy. Just so you know, it's been a lot to figure out where we want to go and what we want to do this year. But having that foundation, knowing that if even things aren't going our way, we have each other, it just gives you a level of certainty that in most relationships or circumstances, 99% of people would be freaked out. But because we spent that time, it keeps you strong. And I can't even translate the amount of results that can produce in your business life, your everything, when you have that foundation.
Awesome. I just got a text. Someone say, when you started, when you started, you had no kids. And then as you build, you were very successful. Somebody said, oh, just because there were no kids, so you were able to do what you did. Then the kids came in, not one, two, and three. They're all under fives, right?
Three under five.
Three kids under fives. So how are you? How you and Sam? I don't know what was happening over there, but hey, well done! Shout out to you too. But how are you able to? I know you love your kids to bits, and when you send us the flyer, normally people send us, but you send the flyer, your pic with the kids. Just happened that Samantha wasn't in, but I know you love your kids to it. So how are you able to balance, and work around them?
Yeah, you're not. That's the truth. I mean, no, there's no such thing, right? It's give and take. Right? Your life is give and take. Last year, I spent a lot of time focusing on them and what we wanted to do as a family before I focused on what to do next in business. And in some ways it helped us, in some ways it hurt us. For everything you do, there's an equal and opposite reaction. It's called the law of polarity. When there's up, there's down. Left and right. Growing or dying. You can't. There's no such thing as balance. So I think it's just a matter of knowing when to pivot, knowing when to course correct. If it's a day where I'm not doing much work, I want to dive as much into hanging out with the kids. The boys love playing games. The baby loves running around. So just getting into their world and giving it everything. And then knowing that, okay, it's time to shift. And then I focus on business. But it's not perfect. It's always work. And there's no way, I don't think we could have accomplished what we accomplished had we had kids. But at the same time, with where we are now, there's no way I would have as much passion and vigor to go drive as hard as I am right now to getting on to what we want to do next. So my advice is really simple. Have the same agreements you have with your spouse, with your kids. And if you ever promise them something, keep the promise, right? And if you are in a position where life is stressful and things are not going your way, take that frustration outside. And if you ever bring it to your children, make sure you stop and apologize to them and make sure they know they're the most important thing. Constantly just be working just as hard as you're in your business, in your relationship, and also in your family life. It takes work.
It takes work. It definitely takes work. And I want to bring your wife in as well because, especially if you work together, I know sometimes it could be business, business, business. So when do you take time out to say, hey, today is our date night? Because it's so important that, especially now that we're all home, and make time for each other as well, because we can be talking about business all day, debriefing and strategizing and all, but when do you say let's stop, it's our time
Yeah, it's interesting. It's different in our household than most. I'll tell you right now, with COVID, it threw out the whole date windows, the date day, date night, date everything. We've been on lockdown for the last month where no one's even allowed to go to someone else's houses. It's insane right now from that regard, right? Um, the biggest thing we've always done and will continue to do is just take time off by going places, obviously that's difficult right now, but we're trying to transition a few things so that we can go visit my family in Australia for a few months, right? That's kind of the way we work. So we kind of work in bursts, right? So it's like, okay, we're doing home for a while, we're doing this business thing for a while, and then we're going to go do some travel for a while. It's always about setting kind of even a relationship goal of what's next. You do need to take that time every week. I'll tell you, it's a lot a lot more difficult during these times. But just having those like conversations where you can kind of have a timeout of what's going on in the world, so you can have a real conversation. I think that's what works better for us. Just saying, "Hey, I need your focus right now, and I have to stop, and she has to stop." And we have conversations. Those little micro conversations build up enough bandwidth to when we can go away. And that's kind of how we do it. Everyone's different. That's how we do it.
That's brilliant. We stopping and focusing on each other. That we say, I was saying that now my home is a gym, my home is the studio, my home is the salon, because the girls, because we're in lockdown, no barbers anyway. So it's the girls being their dads, their dad's barber, they cut his hair, and the boy, we have to do exercise in home. You can't go to the gym, So now the home serves everything. So it's so important that we love each other, because we all kind of, and it's like a testing time, isn't it? How, because most of the time everybody's gone, those going to school, you're going to work, and the time that you come home, you have maybe lunch, dinner, and then everybody goes to their room, or have a little time, and then go back to sleep, and it's like roll out day in and day out. Now we are here 24/7 homeschooling. The home is turned into a school. And so you're like, okay, how are you going to figure all this out? So bonding with our families are super important despite everything that we're doing. So I appreciate you sharing with us. So as we're about to round up, I want you to give me your 5 super important tips for somebody who is thinking, okay, I've heard what RJ has said, I'm going to step out of my comfort zone and start my business no matter what has happened. What are your 5 tips that you give us?
Sure. Number one, take action. Whatever you want to focus on right now, I can tell you from personal experience, whatever you think it is, it'll change. Whatever you see as a potential future, it'll adapt, it'll grow. And that's just the nature of life. So don't try to get so stuck on what it is now. Just focus on taking action towards it, and then you'll figure it out along the way. Second thing is, every day, take the time to debrief, either with yourself or a spouse or even a business partner, figuring out, asking great quality questions. What's working? 5 to 10 things. What is it? What can we do better for next week or tomorrow? Even if it's for yourself, taking the time to ask yourself great quality questions can transform your life. Number 3, just be happy. Having a goal, having a vision, having a long-term strategy in terms of business, relationship, it's all great and we all need it. But the reality is, you don't need to be happy to get those things, right? So having that foundation of gratitude creates happiness. So don't just think, I'll be happy. Be grateful every day, write it down, and that's how you create happiness. It's also a skill. It's a momentum. It's something you create momentum on. 4th thing, wow, first was actions. 4th thing, surround yourself with great quality people. I can't stress this enough. When you surround yourself with people that have positive and healthy relationships, you'll have a positive and healthy relationship. If you're surrounding yourself with people that are limited in their beliefs, which aren't as forward thinking and as happy and as driven as you, then that surrounding becomes a cage, right? So make sure you have iron sharpens iron, surrounding yourself with people that stretch you, that push you, right? Last thing, always seek a mentor. Seek a mentor, someone who's so far behind you in the area that you want to win in. You shorten that gap. I can tell you right now, the mentors in my life that I've actually worked with and then gotten to their level and then found the next mentor and the next mentor. It's not just a one-time thing. It's a continual thing. Finding someone far beyond you in any area will help you achieve what you're looking for so much more faster, efficient, and really giving yourself foresight to what will happen and what will come. So that'd be my 5 things. So was that the doing, daily review, just being happy, grateful, great people around you, iron sharpens iron, and then
and seeking a mentor. Wow, that is brilliant. But so your business is going to be launching soon, and where can we find you? And just give us a sneak peek of it.
Sure. So I'm patenting the name right now, but it's and then so I'll say it. But I've got the domain. It's going to be called Tycoon Mentor or Tycoon Mentors. So very multi-millionaires instructing people how to win that don't have digital brand. So really great. Like one of them, Kahea, he pulls in. He's worth 50 million in real estate. Pivoted to day trading. He's pulling in $250,000 a month from his trading account. Monster. You know, another guy's an amazing speaker, spoken in front of millions of people, but again, doesn't have a digital brand. So what we're doing is really working with these guys to develop a platform that people can really learn from verified multimillionaires. So that won't be launched yet. So you just reach me, RJ Barros, on Facebook or Instagram. If you have a network of people like that or you'd love to get involved, I am looking to hire and build out the team. So just message me on Instagram. It's at RJ Barros, or just find me on Facebook, RJ Barros. Yeah.
Wow, RJ, I cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much. I know, by the way, guys, RJ is in Canada. You're in Edmonton, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Edmonton. You know, we have Edmonton in the UK as well.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, we have Edmonton in the UK. So thank you so much. I know it's your Sunday afternoon and you give me, your time to talk to us, and I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much. My love to the family, and hope to see you soon.
I appreciate you now.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon and God bless. So guys, I hope you have learned something today. It's all about taking the step and doing what you love to do, and no procrastination. So as I said, every month on the Nana Churches show, we're going to be reading a book, and this month, this January, is all about Miracle Happens by Mary Kay Ash, who is the founder of Mary Kay Cosmetics. It's a $1 billion company. I happen to be a Mary Kay consultant, and it's been a blessing. It's phenomenal. Read the book, and I tell you, your life would never be the same, and your business especially. I know we're in a pandemic, but hey, what you put your mind at to do, you can do it, because God had time to create you. You are somebody, and you belong at the top. Have a wonderful week, a fruitful one, and catch you next week, Sunday. Bye-bye.